From downtown Wichita, Cheryl Nutt, R.J. Dickens, James Barfield, Phil Journey, and tonight, Dr. Nabil Seyam. Now, KCTU5 presents Wichita's longest-running talk program, The River City Forum.
Good evening. Welcome to the River City Forum. This is your host, Nabil Seyam. As always, we start the show by promoting the Prospector newspaper. The Prospector newspaper is a weekly newspaper, can be found at 575 different locations throughout South Central Kansas. Inside you will find hundreds of classified ads as well as the weekly newspaper columns by Ron and Cheryl Nutt and R.J. Dickens. Inside you can review the KCTU5 lineup, which you won't find anywhere else north of 47th Street. Pick up a Prospector today, because if you don't get it every week, you just do not get it. With that, we do have a lot of things going on. Again, I want to promote this legacy of Muhammad, and again, alayhi salatu wasalam. This is the legacy of Muhammad. Again, never anywhere in the U.S. going to hear or you're going to see the legacy of Muhammad except in Wichita, Kansas, and this is free. It's going to be on Saturday, June 3rd at WSU, 1845 Fairmount Street, which is the main entrance to WSU. That is close to Hillside, just off 17th Street. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Again, Saturday, June 3rd. Legacy of Muhammad. I would like for everybody to go there and watch and attend this magnificent workshop. There is a lot of scholars, male and female, Muslim American scholars. Free lunch from 1 to 1:30. You can register at www.islamicsocietyofwichita.com. And the reason I would like for you guys to go and attend this seminar or workshop, because of the heavily defamation about the Islamic religion and about Muhammad as a prophet and as a messenger, mainly with the depictions of his images in the newspaper. This way, at least, you get to hear the history of a man from American Muslims who have the knowledge, than to hear it from hypocrites and biased people who actually all they do is defame the prophet and the messenger. Tonight we're going to have a show, by the way, I'm going to call it a political show. We're going to talk about the difference between America and news media and in other countries as well. We're going to talk about politics. And I definitely, in my own opinion, I believe that if we want to solve the problems that exist anywhere in the world, mainly that even exist here in America because of the foreign policy, if we can resolve the issue between the Palestinians and the Israelis, and that is the root cause of a lot of problems that we have in the Middle East and even in Asia and internally in America, we need to focus at that issue. Well, let me quote this. We must do everything to ensure the Palestinians never do return. The old will die and the young will forget, said David Ben-Gurion, the founder of Israel, in 1949. With that, I have a Palestinian refugee. His name is Muhammad Nasirat. He said, "The truth is that the new generation of Palestinians are not weaker, but rather stronger than the older generation in their love and desire for Palestine." My question is to you as audience, and you can share your views at 267-8855, 267-8855. What make a nation a nation? How could 8 million people do not have a nation, like Palestinians, about 8 million people? Why they don't have a nation? They have history, they have culture, they have language, and they have ethnicity. Well, the Kurds are about 22 million people. Why they didn't have a nation? Why 600,000 people like Kuwaitis have a nation? Why only 200 or 300,000 Bahrainis have a nation? Why people like Palestinians and Kurdish, they didn't have a nation? Well, the only one who can answer this question is my guest speaker. Stay tuned. We'll see you in about a couple of minutes.
Oh, sure.
Good evening and welcome back. Welcome to the River City Forum, and I have a nice and lovely lady, Dr. Debbie Gordon. She's an associate professor with WSU with Center for Women Studies. Again, welcome back. I know you were with us a year ago, maybe.
Yes, I was.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
I heard you do have all the answers for all the questions.
All the answers to any question you should possibly want to ask. Actually, no, I don't.
So how you been up to?
Pretty good. I just got back from a research trip to London, which
Okay.
was very interesting.
To London.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Okay. I went over there to interview a woman, newspaper journalist with The Guardian, which is a major London daily paper. I went to interview her because she is the co-editor of a production called My Name is Rachel Corrie, a play about the young American
Right.
woman activist who was run over and killed by the Israeli bulldozer.
Right.
And I went to interview her because there was a major debate in New York City around freedom of expression and the theater over this play.
That activist, that lady, is an American.
Rachel Corrie was an American. She was a young American college student who went as a volunteer to protect Palestinians in Rafah, in the Gaza Strip.
Was she by herself or with a group?
She was part of the International Solidarity
I see.
Movement. She was part of a group of activists, international activists, who are over in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, their purpose being to protect Palestinians from the occupation forces, to protect their homes from being demolished, and just to show solidarity with them on the ground.
So what, I mean, why London? Why, she's an American, why London? Why the
The
British?
play is about an American, but it was put together by the British actor Alan Rickman, who's quite renowned, and he worked with this journalist, Catherine Viner. And what they did, Alan Rickman was very impressed by Rachel Corrie's emails, which were published in The Guardian. He thought it would make a great theater piece, and he and Catherine Viner put the emails together as well as Rachel's writings from her childhood, her journals, and put together this one-woman show.
How old was she, by the way?
She was, I think, in her early 20s. She was probably about 22.
Was she a
21,
student
22.
here?
She was a student at Evergreen College in Washington State, which is one of the campuses of the University of
I
Washington.
want to go back to the issue. She was ran over because I'm sure there's a lot of people in America that didn't even maybe they have never heard of this story or what has happened. Do you have highlights on exactly what happened over there?
Just very briefly, because I didn't go over there to research Rachel Corrie. Rachel Corrie was in Rafah, and she had an orange vest on. This is what these volunteers who are pacifists wear to sort of signal to the Israeli military that they're there on the ground, that they are nonviolent activists, and that they're there to help the Palestinians. And in fact, in her email, she talks about some of the Israeli soldiers who helped her, and it's a very interesting young woman. At any rate, she was protecting a home of the family she was staying with, and the Israelis ran over her. A soldier ran over her in a Caterpillar bulldozer once and then backed over
So
her again.
was it done purposely?
The Israelis claim it was not, but there is lots of evidence that suggests that the driver did see her, that he ran over her once and then he reversed over her, and it broke her back, and that's how she died. Her parents have been trying to get some kind of independent investigation going to find out the actual truth. They've been looking